Welcome back. In today's mental health check, we're digging into therapy sessions specifically around the holidays because we know one of the big challenges people face, actually trying to see their therapist. The most recent federal data shows that more than 59 million Americans sought help from a mental health professional over the last year. But did you know that many people have to pause their treatment when it comes to the holidays? Joining me now is family clinical psychologist Jennifer Hartstein. Thanks so much for joining us today. Do want to start with why therapy sessions are impacted specifically during the holiday time, and why might someone's therapist could be unavailable even if they do have openings in their schedule?
Sure. Thanks, Morgan, for the question. It's such an important one. And the fact is that there are a lot of restrictions on how therapists and clinicians can practice across state lines. So if someone is on vacation and they're from New York and they go to Colorado, there are restrictions on whether or not therapists can practice because they're not licensed in Colorado. So that's a big reason that a lot of therapy gets paused during the holidays because travel gets in the way and we can't meet.
And I'm curious about more of the virtual options. We know a lot of therapists went viral during the pandemic, and there are several online therapy options now. Are those impacted as well?
They are, because the same state line and regulations come into play. You know, things got lifted during COVID, which allowed many of us to practice more broadly and more widely, but the restrictions have been put back into place. So now it makes all of those kind of freedom and flexibility opportunities much more restricted, and it's harder for us to treat across state lines, virtually or in person.
So, Jennifer, if someone's watching and they're dealing with this issue right now and they can't see the therapist because they are traveling, or they want to plan ahead for next holiday, what options should they be considering here?
So we want to really think about how you can kind of create a plan ahead of time, right? So this is a great conversation to have with your therapist before any break happens. And that starts, in my mind, with a cope ahead plan. What can you do? Who can you talk to? Who can you be thinking about? What is that like? What are the skills you can use while your therapist is unavailable? And you can talk about that the weeks leading up to any sort of break. Who are the supports you can lean on? Are they the clergy? Are they family? Are they anybody else? Any of those kinds of things that you can do. What self-care practices are you engaging in? Really important. And oftentimes when therapists go on vacation, they have someone covering for them. So know who that person is, because maybe if you really need it, that person can have a session with you. And if you're really in crisis, we want to lean into 988, which is the suicide and life prevention line, and also crisis text line. You can use those numbers and reach out to people that can help you in the moment right away.
Cope ahead plans. I like that. Of course, Jennifer, this seems like an issue that probably isn't going away anytime soon, something people will continue to deal with around the holidays. Are there actual changes that you would like to see made here?
Absolutely. We need reform to go back to kind of how things were during COVID time. I think it was such an important opportunity for people without access to care to get care. Psychologists like myself have an organization called PsyPact. And what that is doing, it's been passed in 44 states. And if you meet the criteria, you can practice across state lines, but it's only for psychologists. Social workers, licensed mental health counselors don't have that opportunity. So if we can kind of go to the Senate, go to our congresspeople, make that push and make that request that this happen, we can get access to greater care. We know mental health is a nationwide issue, and we really need to be addressing it more effectively.
No doubt. Critical context and an even better game plan. Jen Hartstein, thank you so much.